Yo, what's going on, boys? It's your boy Iron Farter. Today, I'm going to be doing a guide for TOA at a 500 Master Invocation level. Few people have asked me for it, so we're going to go for it. I'm going to go over some things before we start. If you do not have the yellow Karis, it is still doable. However, you will be changing some things from my guide. I like to put this, get an extra 10, just better chance at getting a purple. Hydration, turn off quiet prayers. I'm gonna scroll through it slowly now so you can see what I put. Now, if you do not have the yellow Karis, that means you are going to need Bruise. You have to turn this off, and you have to add some other stuff to get it to level 500. You can add Medic and put a 30-minute timer. I put 35 just to be safe on mine, even though I usually do them in around 25 minutes. Turn off Medic again. I'm going to be doing a 510. I have all this empty space just because I don't need the extra restores, but you can always bring some more restores. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I know that I already did other guides where people could see more. I'm actually going to do it different this time. I'm going to go Zibak into Akka, Kefri, and then Baba, which is why I changed up those potions. I like doing that more because then you can do Kefri with an adrenaline potion and you can just spam Voidwaker specs. Just kind of speeds it up a little bit. Again, I'm not going to be going over like details really here. There's 2 other videos where I explained all that stuff. You can follow it there. If you do not have a Shadow or a T-Bow, I would say that 500s are going to take significantly longer. Still doable, but I would try to keep that 35-minute timer on. If you have a Shadow or T-Bow, it'll extremely speed it up. To do a little Voidwaker spec, just get some nice DPS. If you are still learning, I would recommend just skipping the Voidwaker specs. Keep all of your spec for the Karis in case you need to heal. That would be the safer option, but I've done this so many times, so any other experienced player would do the same thing I'm doing. The Karis requires, I believe, 60% spec or 70, something in that range. It costs 50 or 60 prayer points, and it will fully heal you to 119 HP. So it's just like an Ambrosia, but obviously you're not going to have any Ambrosias in this one because dehydration is off. So you cannot get any potions that heal. If you have both the T-Bow and the Shadow, I have seen people still use Shadow, so I'm going to guess that is better. I don't have a T-Bow, so I haven't tried. Just made a mistake there. That's something very, like, you want to focus on, like being able to run over tiles. You would not take damage over that poison, because when you run, you skip the first tile you run over. You see how I just ran over all that poison? Run 2 tiles at a time. If you're still learning, also try to keep your prayer up, so whenever you have to panic, use a Karis. You'll have the prayer. And that's the first room done. Gonna change it up and go to Akka now. Everything's pretty much the same from my other guide. There's not much to it other than not having brews. Make sure you either have a dragon pickaxe in your tool belt or you have one stored over there so you can use it. Otherwise, you're gonna do this in 2 phases. And you don't want to waste any time. If you have a shadow, you always want to try to run in circles. Minimize the times that Akka attacks you, because that means he'll stay on that prayer for longer, and you can shadow more often. Speeds up the room, and shadows the biggest damage that you can do in this room. Some unlucky hits there. Usually dies much faster. Turn off your prayer, save some prayer. Bear in mind that I am an Uber donator, so I have a prayer renewal at all times, which is why I use less restores than other people. So don't be afraid to fill up all those empty spots with restores, and you can just drop them in the lobby if you need more space. Again, if you are learning, don't use a Void Waker spec here. Keep your spec for Karis. If you have these poison balls, or whatever, the black balls, if you run 2 tiles at a time, you're always safe from them. That was an unlucky throw, but it is what it is. You can keep running around here, but room's almost over, and I know I have plenty of time, so I'm not really worried about it. Getting unlucky with hits, it's gonna do a memory phase. Try not to have a melee thrall out because melee thrall attacks will count towards your 3 hits that you can do on Akka. And obviously your hits are going to do more damage than your thrall is. That's Akka complete. Don't forget now this new update, they have this deposit pot. You can use any potions you want on there. It's only there when the helpful spirit is, so every 2 rooms. For these rooms, you already have links in the previous guide. You can use them to help you solve these puzzles. You will be taking the power both times, so that's why you can use your adrenaline now. You're going to be getting some more adrenaline. Salt up and get ready for Kefri. Again, if you're still learning, don't use all 3 specs. Just use like 1 or 2 and save your spec for Karis. I like running this way because when you kill the first phase, it's going to spawn a ranger and a melee scarabs. That way you have that wall to protect you from the melee one. It has to do a big circle around, just like that. So you have plenty of time to kill this ranger before the soldier one comes up. You can use chins, do some slightly more damage, kill those. Not too worried about it. I just let it heal up while I kill these peacefully. If I kill this in time and I still have, it's already fully healed. If I still had time, I would just put my blowpipe on and kill some scarabs. While attacking now, I'm going to work my way to the other side. Because it's going to, you want to focus the major first, so it doesn't charge up and attack on you. Gonna pray range. I find the ranger does more damage to me, so which is why I kill the ranger and then I'll pray melee and kill the other one. I have seen people just tank the melee one while they kill scarabs first, so it doesn't fully heal. But this is just the way I do it. Maybe better ways, but I just find this easiest. If you know how to manage the getting pushed back by the dung, you're always going to have plenty of free space instead of getting yourself trapped. It's always easiest on the corners because they just stack in a line. Just like that, just stacked another line, so you still have plenty of free space. That's Kefri completed. As you can see, I've only used one of my restore sips, that's why I don't bring more. The Uber perk does help me out a lot, so you may need to use more restores. I like to kill the shamans first, just so they don't spawn too many thralls. But that is also why I bring my chins. If you have the Necromancer book, you can bring Ancients, because you're going to have thralls in your book. Just like that, very easy cleanup with the chins. I'm gonna use my second adrenaline potion for Baba. Also spam some Void Waker specs. I upgraded my current gear. I don't even have to change to Masori. I can just stay like this. You can also not melee him right away and just use Shadow, because only a melee attack will stop his boulders. I will do that on the next set of boulders just to show you, but it hits a lot of zeros for me because I don't have an upgraded Shadow. So you just Shadow him. I'm not sure if T-bow would work or Blowpipe. I've only tried Shadow. That way it doesn't stop his boulders and you're just getting some free hits like that. Gonna Karis just to be safe. Don't be greedy with your stuff, because it's better to spend a few more prayer points and then wasting 20 minutes of your life. That's Baba completed. Like I said, you're always taking power. Having an imbued heart E or saturated heart is very recommended. If you have a shadow, you can do this method. If you do not have a shadow, you actually have to sit and tank. I just tank 3 balls just so I can make sure that Elidness spawns and not the Tumikins. But if you do not have a shadow, you have to actually tank those and move between the two, because you do not have a weapon that can attack this far away. T-bow will do bad DPS on it. Most of the time, you'll kill the obelisk before these balls even attack you, just like that. If not, then you'll just drink an adrenaline and use a Karis. Very simple. Doesn't do more than 90 damage, and you're never going to be below 90 HP from if you tank only 3 balls. Gonna do 6 specs or 6 attacks. 4, 5, 6. Oops, forgot to use the mage juju when I was using shadow. Now for this set, you only have to do 3 specs. I think 2 specs would even work. I just do 3 because we have plenty of spec. That way you'll save your spec for when you're, so you can Karis before going into Warden. Have full HP bar. Don't forget that your Karis, if you wield it and you kill the skulls that spawn every 20%, that those also heal you. They will take prayer, but if you have no spec and you need to heal, you can do that. I always like to stay behind this mark tile and see these two over here. They're a bit darker. That's how you know where to mark your tile. This gives you 2 ticks to react. If you are further, you'll have 1 tick. So that way you're safe. If you don't memorize which way it's gonna start, you have plenty of time to react. If you do one attack right off the bat like that quickly, it won't trigger Warden into starting his waves, so you get like a free attack. I don't think this works in duos though. At least in my experience, it hasn't. Just like that, get a quick attack off the bat. Keep your prayer high. Use an adrenaline potion when you feel like it's about to start getting risky. That way you have plenty of Karis specs whenever you need them. That was a 25:58, and I was explaining some stuff, which is obviously why it took like a minute and a half longer than usual, but still a very quick time. This is our first time getting a purple. Nice. Getting a purple while making a guide, of course. Let's see if you guys give me some good luck. Not bad. That's decent points. I already have a green log, so uh, everything's gonna be for item sync points. But that's the guide, boys. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Discord. It is just like that, no uppercase, farther1, or PM me in game. And that's it, boys. Good luck on your masters.